Mario Kart Wii, the game that has captivated the hearts and minds of thousands of children from my generation. Even 16 years after its release and years after the online service went down, the fans of this game love it so much that they made their own Wi-Fi service on the Wii to play online with people. And the community is still very strong. It's really fantastic to see. So it begs the question, why is Mario Kart so great? And I thought I would give a brief analysis of why I love this game so much and why I think it's so great. I'm going into the nitty gritty, so get ready for me to nerd out, alright? Starting right out the gate, let's go time trials. Just starting with the roster. What a solid roster of characters, right? People are used to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and there's so much filler, right? You get your Pink Gold Peach and your Tanuki Mario that you forget about the base game roster, right? And now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there's DLC packs that you can buy, so you can get it like every character you could ever want, but if you want to pay extra, that's on you. This roster is just so well balanced in terms of like different kinds of characters, and no one feels like Baby Daisy and Baby Peach are like, you get rid of them and I don't care. Even the other, like Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, get rid of them and I don't care. But like everyone else feels so right? And then funkykong is obviously an icon, like an icon of this game specifically, but just in Nintendo gaming in general, people love funkykong. So like, what a ass-pull pick. funkykong's so great. Like I'm tired of pretending that he's like just a meme. I love funkykong. He's such a cool guy. You can play as your Mii's. Like what a fantastic like marketing decision. Like so good. You could be some stupid Mii. Like I'm diabetes. Like it's great. Like you get your classics. You get Mario, Luigi, Peach, and then you get Bowser, DK, Wario and Luigi, Yoshi. Right? Then you get your random ass-pull picks. Like I said before, like Dry Bowser. I think Dry Bowser's sick. You get King Boo. Who expected that, right? Rosalina from Mario Galaxy. I mean, that just got released on the console when this came out. Like, that's so sick. And then funkykong? I don't need to explain funkykong. Everyone loves funkykong. He's a cultural icon in gaming. So, you choose a character, right? We'll choose funkykong because he's awesome. Look at all these vehicles. Now, I hear a lot of complaining within the community, outside of the community. I hear a lot of complaining in general. But about Mario Kart Wii specifically, they say, oh, the vehicles are so unbalanced, right? The characters are so unbalanced, right? Like, the Flame Runner is just so much better than, like, every other vehicle he has access to other than, like, the Spear and maybe the Flame Flyer or Honeycoop if you're good. And I feel like this is something, like, that we don't really understand about game balancing, is that in order for these vehicles to stand out, it entails some of them being better than the others. Now, the Flame Runner is, like, really flipping good. Like, I'm not gonna pretend it's not. It's not about, people act like choosing a vehicle in Mario Kart is like choosing a character in Smash Bros. And it's not the same at all. Like, in Smash Bros, you're playing the character. In Mario Kart Wii, you're playing the track. You're not playing the vehicle, right? The vehicle is just how it helps you navigate the track, right? Smash Bros, it's all about navigating your character and the other character that you're fighting. That's not the same for Mario Kart Wii, and people kind of get that confused. If you want to navigate this game to its fullest potential, you play the Flame Runner or you play the Mach Bike, right? Where's the Mach Bike? You see those stats? Like, you play one of these vehicles, maybe like the Bullet Bike if you really want to get crazy. But that's what's so special about this game, right? Is you can navigate it in so many ways. You can play it in so many different ways, right? The Flame Runner doesn't play like almost any other vehicle in the game, right? Like, look, if you look at the stats right now, and then we'll put a pin in that, and then we look at the stats of the Mach Bike, they're very similar in terms of the balancing, right? It's just minor tweaks, and yet they feel so different and so distinct. And that's just because of the balancing of this game, and every vehicle feels special, right? Like, if you want to go off your favorite design, like, I love the Dolphin Dasher. I think it's so funny. And it's not bad, but really, if you're not playing the Mach Bike or Flame Runner, you're not really playing the game to its fullest potential in terms of, navigating the track and what you can do. But the Dolphin Dash is so fun, and it has its own way of driving some tracks. Like, you can just go off-road for long sequences of time because of the off-road stat, right? You get, that's just all the Sneakster. We'll go back to the Spear. The Spear is so drastically, like, inept at drifting because of its high speed and low drift. So you have to play it a specific way, and the same with all the karts, right? Playing a kart is so different from playing an inside drifting bike or an outside drifting bike for that matter, because it doesn't have a wheelie, and we'll get to wheelies in a minute. But I think we should be celebrating the fact that not every vehicle is the same, that some are better than others, right? Because it's natural, right? When you try to balance a game, some things are going to be better than the others, so long as the things you can play are unique, if that makes sense, right? So, like, again, I even said the Flame Runner and Mach Bike, they're the two best vehicles in the game, and they still feel pretty different to play. Like, I can feel the difference in the drifting stat and the weight stat, right? I can feel the difference in those things. Karts is you're playing the game in a completely different way, and if you want to play that way, that's great. It gives you the tools to do that, right? People complain that they see only funkykong Flame Runner in lobbies, and, I mean, you can complain till the cows come home, but really, people play funkykong Flame Runner not just because it's the best. Well, I should say this. It's the best because it lets you navigate the game to its fullest potential. It's why so many people play Fox and Melee, because you feel like you're flying. You feel like you're flying when you play funkykong Flame Runner. You feel like you're flying when you're playing Fox and Melee. It feels like you can do anything. So that's just why it peeves me off a little bit when I hear people complaining about, right, like, all the vehicles are so unbalanced, and so it's a bad thing. If anything, it's a good thing that they're unbalanced, in my opinion. But yeah, the Flame Runner is the best vehicle. It's the best vehicle in the game. But yeah, I've heard this argument for years. I've heard it for like a decade, as long as I've played this game, is that, you know, the vehicles are unbalanced and it's a bad thing. And I really don't get it. Like, I mean, you're not going to win if you play the Phantom and you go into a lobby of Funky Kongs, right? But you don't have to just play this game, like, to beat everyone, right? You play to have fun and to navigate the tracks. And let's get to that next. Let me choose funkykong Flame Runner because I want to win. But in the manual automatic, you choose manual. Because automatic just sucks balls. But now we go to the track selection, and we'll ignore the custom tracks because that's a fan-made thing. But we're going to go through like these individual tracks, and I really think this game has a solid roster of tracks, right? Obviously, no Mario Kart game is going to be perfect because Nintendo is balancing it, right? And it's not made to be competitive. It's not made to be, you know, it's not supposed to be the titans of the game, right? It's a solid roster. Like, if we just want to list off bangers right now, like Mushroom Gorge, Toad's Factory, Koopa Cape, Maple Treeway, Grumble Volcano, like, I keep going, dude. Dredger Ruins, Moonview Highway is a really underrated track. The Bowser's Castle, Rainbow Road, and Coconut Mall, DK Summit, Wario's Gold Mine, like, and even the retro tracks are not a bad selection at all. Like Tofino Square and Waluigi, Peach Gardens, people like DK Mountain, I don't, but people do. N64 Bowser's Castle, dude, that track's awesome, that track's gas. GBA BC3 is fire, right? And even some, like, you know, filler tracks like GCN Mario Circuit, I don't even hate Peach Beach. Moo Moo Meadows is a personal, you know, cult classic favorite of mine. And there's a diverse selection of tracks too, so it's like, if you want to play a luck track, if that's your thing, Luigi Circuit's right here, right? Shy Guy Beach is where it's right there. If you're big into, you know, time trials and more techie tracks, I mean, I personally think Dredger Ruins is a great, like, tech showcase track. Same with Coconut Mall, Delfino Square. If you want to nerd out on some shortcuts, trust me, there are plenty in this game, and we will get to them soon. But my point is that there are so many tracks, so many different tracks that you can choose from. I think it's a great selection, really. And again, no, it's not perfect, right? If it were up to me, we would not have, like, Luigi Circuit, Mario Circuit. Some of the retro tracks could be a little more iconic, you know, but it's fine. I understand that the game's not perfect, and it's not made just for me, right? So, what should we talk about next? Let's do this. What's an involved track? It's a very involved track. I think Delfino Square's good. So I'm just gonna play, and I'll talk while I play, right? I mean, it's a time trial, so I'm not racing any bots, but it'll be a little tech showcase, I guess. And I just want to show you, this is gonna kind of reinforce what I said about the vehicles and why there's so many different ones and why everyone plays the Flame Runner. Okay, that didn't happen. So, like, I'm about to show you on these turns, like, okay, wheeling's flipping awesome. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but, like, look at how, like, smooth and, like, buttery taking these turns is. Like, look at this. I can just navigate all I want. Like, it's so free. Like, I can just hop around. You know, drift, mini turbo. It just feels so natural. Inside drift just feels so right to me. Okay, and then that shortcut didn't feel right. But, like, and I understand, you know, inside drift may not be for everyone, right? People might enjoy playing the karts. And that's fine. Again, the vehicle diversity is just different ways to play the game. It's not like being a karter makes you an inferior player or makes the experience, you know, necessarily worse. It's just a different way to play the game, and we should be celebrating that, right? Okay, I'm missing every mini turbo now. This is embarrassing. It's like I've never played this game before. But like here, let me show you a shortcut. Like we'll just. I did not do that right at all, but you get my point. Like, you jump across there, you try to do something like that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Lakitu is coming like to babysit you. Like, it's so annoying. And then I just looked at the camera, so I screwed up because I'm bad at the game. But like, the game just gives you so much freedom. That's the point, because I mean, inside drift gives you so much freedom, but I cannot get over. That is like the saving grace of the game. Like, if everything else was gone, keep inside drift. And then the second thing you keep is wheelies, because those together, you could just maneuver any corner however you want. Like I'll go to this track. This is a good example, right? Because it's flat. Like even before the race starts, you just like awkward. Like look, before the race even starts, you can adjust the way you're facing with wheelies. It's so great. Wheelie on straightaway to go faster, right? And what a good mechanic. Like the fact that there is a trade-off, right? Wheeling isn't just broken all the time, right? Because if you get bumped, then you lose a lot of speed, or you just miss mini turbos like me and you're bad. Like the game just feels so right to play, and it might just be a feeling thing for me, right? So if it doesn't translate to you, like that's, I don't agree, but look at the shortcut. Just a simple little something. Okay, hit the wall, but it's still a shortcut. Like, all right, so now we'll just go to Mushroom Gorge and go crazy, like. There's no way I messed it up again. That, oh my god. So on the same topic of movement, let me show off a slip drift. Hold on. So go here. Right there. You do a wheelie in between when you do two drifts. And so you get the second mini turbo faster. But on the same topic of like freedom of movement in this game, I can't get over how important that is. Let's say I take this turn late. Do something there, call it spin drift. That's where, you know, normally when you take a drift in this game, oh, now I'm getting into like some complicated tech, but normally when you do a drift, you do this. You hop, and then right before you land, you start like actually turning to take the turn. And that's so you have more time while you're turning on the ground to get a mini turbo, right? Because if you start doing this, like, you don't get the mini turbo as fast, right? Because you've already taken part of the turn in the air. So like, you do this, look, you're already like, I'll slow it down, you know, in editing, but you're already taking part of the turn while you're in the air, and that the air time doesn't calculate your mini turbo coming out. So I just totally forgot where I was going with this. Right, so what a spin drift does is, right, so normally you take a turn like this. Right before you land, you start doing the turn, right? Anyways, where I was going with that was a spin drift is basically like kind of reversing that, where a spin drift gets you some more air time, right? Because like, which is where you immediately turn in the direction you want to go, and then you turn the other way, and that gets you more air time. So let me do a spin drift on the gap shortcut here. So like that. So you do a spin drift there because it gives you more air time. I can't exactly tell you why it gives you more air time. Well, and there's a slip drift. You know, it's just, and there's another one. Like, it's just little tech things like that that are so fun to learn with the game, right? And so it makes it so like it's not just like some casual paradise, right? It's like you can keep getting better at the game. Like, there's so much to explore. You can just get more consistent with shortcuts. You can master the tech, right? And then don't even get me started on item play. Oh my god, let's get to item play. So, okay. So here we have a chart of item probability in Mario Kart Wii. We're about to get super nerdy, right? So let's start off with what first place can get. And this is where I'm gonna get really hard on the new Mario Karts, and even some of the old ones too. And just why this is the best Mario Kart, and why it works so well as a concept, this item layout. So, you get first place, and there are 4 potential items you can get. You get banana, you get green shell, you get fake item box, and you get triple bananas. Now you can see the percentages laid out here. And so, triple bananas is the rarest, right? And that makes sense because, you know, you can get a single banana. This is more so like oh, that's cool that I got that, right? And it's better than the other ones, right? So we're going to mostly be talking about this trifecta. Get rid of the red shell. But this trifecta of items right here. Because you really don't get much better than this roster in terms of balancing. So we'll start with the green shell. So you get the green shell, but this one can't trap, but it can block items behind you, and it's lethal. We'll just use the word lethal. You get a banana, which is not as lethal, right? It's still, you hit your opponent, that's a good thing. But the green shell is going to put them in a lot more hit stun than the banana is going to. The banana you can hold out behind you, and you can set it as a trap. To summarize, green shell's lethal, blocks items behind you, but can't be used as a trap. The banana can be used as a trap, and it can block items behind you, but it's not as lethal. Fake item box, on the other hand, is lethal, and it can be used as a trap that you put down, but it can't block items behind you. So you have a bit of a rock, paper, scissors thing going on with those three items, and I think it's perfect, right? I think there's places, you could use all of them. All three of them are usable, right? You don't get one and you're like, it normally doesn't, well, it can ruin your race if you get a fib. And this trifecta of items is really like the epitome of game balancing, right? In a very simple sense, where, you have three things and there's pros and cons to each one, but they're still very balanced, right? In some scenarios, you want the green shell, right? You're trying to snipe someone. Other scenarios, you want the fib, right? You want to set a lethal trap. Then another one, you want a banana, so you can set traps, but you can also keep yourself safe. And then the triple bananas is a nice little bonus, like, hey, I got triple bananas, right? It's not super insanely broken, so it doesn't mess up the balancing at all. It's just a nice little, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't, We are going to skip these middle spots. We're going to go right down to 12th place. And I want to establish something now for everybody, if you're not super knowledgeable on how Mario Kart works. The shock is the most valuable item in the game. Period. The most valuable. And in that same vein, the star is probably the second most valuable. Why? Because you can dodge the shock. So the shock basically shrinks everyone on the map except for the person using it. If you're in a star, you can't get shocked. And so we call this dodging the shock, or just dodge it, right? You can also do this in a bullet bill. You can do it in a mega mushroom. I think that's it, of the items at least. Someone's gonna have the shock. If it's not you, you're fishing for stars. So valuable, so insanely valuable, these two items, right? I think the shock is a fantastic item. Every item in the game, besides maybe like the first couple spots with these, little skirmishes with these items, everyone else is playing around the shock, right? Even first and second and third, whatever, they are playing around the shock because it's just that lethal of an item. You can chain it right after you use it. You have an open item slot. So as you're going into an item set, use the shock, and then you can immediately go into the next item. So you're fishing for stars, in the back. Or mega mushrooms in these middle spots, which you see how rare this is? The mega mushroom is this, rare item that's like, if I get this, like I'm set, like a 4th place mega mushroom, you basically rule the flippin' world. Like, if you want to talk about like make a list of like what are the best items you can get in like a given position, like this is the best item to get in 4th besides sometimes, triple mushrooms. The mega is this amazing wild card, right? That's something where in the middle, you're fishing for it and you have to look out for, right? If someone has a mega, you get out of the way. There's also, bullets you can dodge in a bullet bill, which is, helpful. But the star is really good because you use it and you can chain it into another item. While you're using the bullet, you can't get another item while you're in it, going around. And so it drops you somewhere, no item. And you can't really control where you're going, what you're doing. Right? The star is perfect because you get a star, you're invincible, you can dodge the shock, you can go through off-road, it gives you a bit of a speed boost, and you can chain it into another item, which usually will be something like triple mushrooms, a golden, maybe another star if you're lucky. It's not too common. Again, there's a max of 3 stars that could be in play at a time. And so I think that cap is so important because otherwise everyone would just be fishing for stars and everyone would get them, and then the shock has less value, right? What's so great about, I think it's great that there's this one grand item that like can change the whole game, right? Let's get the elephants out of the room right now. The thundercloud and the bloop. I mean, this item trio here is pretty shocking. But the thundercloud is something people point to all the time, and they say like, wow, this is a major flaw in this game. If you don't know what the thundercloud does, puts the thundercloud above your head, has a timer. If you bump into another racer, it passes the cloud onto them. If you can't pass the cloud to anyone and its timer runs out, then you get shocked. Only you. And you know how valuable the regular shock is. So no one wants this. So you get it, and it creates chaos in the middle, which is why it's in these middle positions, right? Now, people make the argument all the time about you shouldn't be punished for getting an item box. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree. Now, I'm not saying that you should get an item that's like always bad, right? The Thundercloud isn't always bad, because what I didn't know is that it gives you a speed boost and lets you go off-road. That's actually really important, because there are situations where, I'm in that 3rd or 4th place and I'm looking for an item in the last set or the second to last item set of the race, and I get a Thundercloud, and it's perfect because I can just cruise through the off-road and it wins me a position or two. In the Mario Kart Wii Skeptist's defense, this item's not perfect, and there are 10 times more situations where I don't want it than when I do want it. However, what a cool concept. Like, this is what brings life into the game. Are items like this. Not that are necessarily bad or hurt you, but items like this that create chaos, right? You get it in these positions, whether that's 6th place, 8th place. 8th place to 3rd place, like, that's the pack. Right? If you don't know anything about Mario Kart Wii, you should know that the pack is chaos. Everyone's there. You're getting all these crazy items. Look at the items you get. Mega, Pow, Thundercloud, like you're getting triple reds, right? Bombs, blue shells, like you're getting all these crazy like wild card items. And the Thundercloud isn't even that common. Like I've gone through whole races and there's been no Thunderclouds. Now, on the other hand, I've been through races and there have been multiple, right? Because that's just how Mario Kart works. It's item probability. But I feel like people overreact a lot about the Thundercloud, right? It's something to play around. I think it takes away any incentive to be in the pack, right? If there already was one, right? It makes the pack that much more chaotic, right? And so it forces you to make a decision, right? Because you're not going to pass all these people without items usually, unless they mess up or you take a shortcut and they don't. But you either sandbag and go into lower positions to get better items that are going to get you further up. But in doing so, you're losing time getting the items, and you might not get something you want, right? Because, you go down to 9th place and you get a blue shell. Like, it's possible. It's rare, but it's possible. Or, you thug it out in the middle spots and hope you get one of the, like, really good items, right? Triple mushrooms is possible, Omega is possible. So I think that creates an interesting incentive, right? To make a decision and to favor bold plays. And same with, and for the Thundercloud specifically, if you get it, you can go off-road and try to cut someone off. Or, I've been in races where, I'm trying to pass the Thundercloud and people full on stop. Like, they stop their vehicle. And I think that's so cool. And really, like, there's not much else to talk about the balancing, right? Because the game's balanced, whatever. I want to point out there's no coin. There's no coin. I think the coin is one of the worst items ever invented in all of Mario Kart history. I hate the coin. I think it ruins the trifecta I talk so much about. And I really do think that trifecta of items really works. Like, super well. You don't have to complicate it. You don't have to throw... Super Horn, too. I don't like the Super Horn either. It's broken. But for coins specifically, you don't have to throw in some curveball. Oh, let's put in this random item. Right? It makes you go a little bit faster. It makes you go almost no faster. It's not worth it at all. Right? And red shells in Mario Kart 8 are so lethal as well. In Mario Kart Wii, there's counterplay to a red shell. Right? So it takes away the incentive of just throwing your red shell away. Right, because you can go around a turn and it can go in a gap or it can go in a wall, right? It's smart, right? Smart in the sense that it's trying to take shortcuts, but not smart enough that it won't run into a wall. In 8 Deluxe, those things are like homing missiles that are like unshakable. They're unshakable homing missiles, right? You can't do anything about it, and you're getting coins, right? I think coins are just one of the worst items in all of Mario Kart history, not just in terms of performance, but in terms of how it brings down the game. And I'm so glad they didn't do that. And Super Horn, it just takes away all the effect of the blue shell, right? You get a Super Horn, it's like, why lose first place, right? How do you lose first place if you have, like, a coin and a Super Horn, It just doesn't make sense to me. And the item balancing in 8 Deluxe, let me complain about that. Because in Mario Kart Wii, all the items are position-based, right? So we can tie a percentage, right, in first place. As long as, no maximums are reached, you have a 32.5% chance of getting a green shell. There are some basket cases where that changes. Right, for example, if there are too many items on the ground, there's a chance you get a mushroom, right, in first place. In 8 Deluxe, it's distance-based. So it's depending on how far away you are from the person in front of you. So you could be in 3rd or 4th place and you're getting a star, you're getting a bullet bill, you're getting all these crappy things. It takes away any strategy of sandbagging, because if you just sandbag behind the person who's about to pass you, then when you go through the item box, you get a single mushroom. You get a single mushroom in triples. So shocks never happen. You can't make any plays with them, right? Because in order to get the shock, you have to be so far back that it's just not even worth it at that point. Like, it takes away all incentive. It makes it so brainless, right? You just go through the box and spam the item, right? It goes back to the red shell as well. You just spam the red shell. And first place either has a coin or you take away their item guaranteed, right? There's no, like, oh, let me think about when to use this, right? And there's no thought for first place of, oh, let me avoid this red shell with this, crafty turn. It doesn't force anyone to explore. And then every vehicle in the game has infinite acceleration stats, so you get hit by an item and it's like nothing happened. And you get invincibility after a lot of them too. So blue shells do nothing. Blue shells are gunk. They do absolute schmut in that game. And they ruined the item. They really did. Because now there are times where it can hit 3 people on its way to get first, and then it doesn't even hit first, right? Because first place hit a banana, or fell off a ledge, which doesn't even lose you that much time anymore. Or they have the super horn, which again, I can't get over the super horn. So the blue shell got absolutely, hijacked as an item. It got absolutely demolished for all of its what the purpose is. And so that's the thing, is they've lost the plot basically. But my summary with all the items and all the nerding out is that this game is really balanced. I think all the items have a place, right? The blooper is the only thing that's I'm fine with the thundercloud. I can understand that, but the blooper I can't. They should have made it more lethal. They should have made it fill up almost your whole screen. Let's talk about the shortcuts, and I'm gonna go to my friend TWD98. I used to watch him all the time. Boy, look at this. Skipping whole gaps, right? There's one. There's just a cool tech strategy, right? Get more mini turbos, and then here we go. DK Summit double. Look at this. It's look how much you can do. Look, and that doesn't even save that much time, but it's just some cool tech showcase. Oh, here we go. Is this gonna be the freaking triple mushroom sand hop? But dude, you skip that whole corner if you have triple mushrooms. Here we go. I love this one. Yeah, look at that. You just scale the cliff. Right, it's things like this. Let me pause the video. Oh, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, here we go. Ultra cut. Let's talk about ultra cuts, man. Look at that. Scaling the whole mountain. This is what's so baffling to me, is that people find problems with this, right? People say oh, it's so imbalanced, right? It's not intended. It's not intended. We shouldn't be doing it. It ruins the game and takes away all the fun. It makes Mario Kart Wii more open world than most open world games can be. This is what gets people who really care about the game and who are passionate to explore, right? They look up maps for the key checkpoints. They try to scale mountains to see if they can get time skip, right? Even now, to this day, 16 years after the game came out, over 16 years, we are still getting revisions and updates to how shortcuts are to be done optimally, right? One that I can think of is when you're scaling that gap, the Mushroom Gorge gap shortcut. You used to just do it like I was doing it in the video earlier. Now there's some proper way where you go closer on the ledge on the left. I'll put that in editing, but it's things like that where we can make small discoveries. And we're still optimizing this game now, and it's no wonder why. It's because we can do things like this. We don't have Lakitu holding our hand. We don't have the developers, carrying us around on a leash, telling us what we can and can't do. It's just this amazing, stunt course where we can do whatever we want, It incentivizes people to try things out and explore the game more. It's what keeps people coming back, is playing with the shortcuts. And it makes every race different, right? It makes it so it's never over, right? The way the new games deal with it, it's that they change up the items and they try to add stuff and, change little mechanics to make it so it feels like the race is never over. For Mario Kart Wii, it's never over because we get to do whatever we want. That's what I really love about this game. You just get to, you're hopping around mountains and you're scaling walls and you're jumping in gaps is optimal sometimes, right? It feels like the strategy and the tech of this game is so advanced. You don't even have to do it to enjoy the game, right? People still love the game and they don't play with the tech at all. But it's so beautiful, right? It's such a beautiful game. I mean, the game is just so beautiful, not in terms of like visually, but like the game is so expressive, right? Again, you can do so much, you can explore so much. It feels more open worldly than most open world games are now. And I that really speaks volumes, right? It's more than just a racing game. And it's more than a racing game for a lot of people. But, I mean, that's just people's personal experiences. I'm just here to tell you why the game is great as, like, you know, as a game. So, I don't know if you guys enjoyed, you know, me rambling about Mario Kart Wii, but I love this game. I love this game so much. It's so special to me. I played it all my life, man. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, if you couldn't tell by the however long this video is, I mean, I can't get over this game. It's so great. So thank y'all for watching. If you want me to do more analytical stuff like this in the future, I guess, about games I'm passionate about, then let me know. Thanks for watching.